Over 70 million people have already seen the Kony 2012 video worldwide, but almost nobody has seen it here in northern Uganda, the area worst affected by Joseph Kony's rebel Lord's Resistance Army, because there's little internet access. And so a charity organised a public screening in the town of Lira, inviting local reaction.
It would have been better if initially people in the north looked through and say, we agree to that, it would make sense. And if we had not brought it down here, no one would bring it, and they would be completely excluded.
Kony and the LRA are no longer in Uganda, having fled to neighbouring countries, leaving victims groups like this one trying to rebuild their lives. Many, scarred or maimed for life, have travelled to town to see the film that the world has been talking about. Leo Adongo was abducted by the LRA. He says he'll never forget the day a landmine blew off his arm and killed 4 of his friends as he tried to escape. He's heard about the video on local radio. He says he supports the campaign for Kony's arrest, but he thinks some of the promotion methods sound offensive.
If people in those countries care about us, they will not wear T-shirts with pictures of Joseph Kony for any reason. That would celebrate our suffering.
But Invisible Children are adamant their strategy is justified and effective.
I understand why a lot of people are wondering, is this just some slick kind of fly-by-night slacktivist thing, when actually it's not at all. It's actually it's connected to a really deep, thoughtful, very intentional and strategic campaign.
News of the screening spreads far and a large crowd gathers at sunset. They're expecting to watch a film that documents their suffering as they perceive it. For many people here, the video is simply puzzling. It contains footage of an American man, his son, and it documents events that happened here in northern Uganda years ago. But as the film progresses, puzzlement turns into anger.
There are some kind of people, there are some kind of NGO who are trying to mobilize funds using the atrocities committed in northern Uganda.
We wanted to see how our local people were killed.
Correct.
So these are all white men, these are feelings different from northern Uganda.
Kony 2012 may be the most watched video on YouTube this year, but it clearly doesn't resonate with many of the people it claims it's meant to help.
The government of Uganda has released a statement appreciating the renewed efforts towards the arrest of Joseph Kony, but appeals for a correct interpretation of the media content. The press release reads in part that Uganda welcomes all campaigns which seek to raise awareness and highlight the plight of the people affected by the Lord's Resistance Army. And it goes ahead to say the government of Uganda strongly urges that any awareness campaign fully takes into consideration the current realities of the situation. Army spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Felix Kulaije says the video should have started with a disclaimer to give the viewer a true picture of what they should expect.
I hope somebody will have the courtesy to put a disclaimer that this is what used to happen. This is not current. Because certainly what is in that documentary is totally the opposite of what's happening now.
He admits that they extended assistance in the making of the video, but the video maker did not follow their advice.
They approached me. I linked them to Gusco, for example, where these children used to go. I linked them up to my personnel in the north who used to receive them. Because I knew certainly these are people who are interested in getting to understand what befell our children in the past. Because currently, many of these have been rehabilitated.